We saw a bunch of folk arriving at the start of Raw, including Bron Breakker, who was not wearing a shirt, which leads me to believe he was walking around Green Bay half naked. I don't know about you, I'm pretty sure that is illegal. It's not illegal, but you definitely gonna get some funny looks. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs on Monday Night Raw, which many people are saying is the best wrestling show right now. So get your butt in the comments and let me know. And also, do not forget, All In Weekend is just around the corner here in London, and What Culture has a show before the actual event itself, and you will still have loads of time to get to Wembley Stadium, because we are right next door. So if you want to come by and say hello, please do. All the information is in that description. But now let's take the finger of power, give the good bits an up, and the bad bits are down. I don't think Gunther was into this Bron Breakker nakedness either, or half nakedness, because when Raw did begin, out came the ring general to have a little bit of a chat. He was also fully clothed, and while at first he was like, I just want to address my comments about Damian Priest last week, and it looked like he was going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said it. He went, I meant every damn word that came out of my mouth. What a strange way to get to this point. Like, if you hadn't have said anything, I still would have totally believed that what you said is what you meant. So essentially, he still thinks that Damian Priest is a bum, as well as all the fans. That one hurt. I was like, well, I'm a fan. I don't feel like a bum. What a terrible day. It all ties back into this idea, though, that while Damian may have a sob story, that doesn't make you a prestigious world champion, whereas Gunther would be the most prestigious world champion of all time. As far as he's concerned, Damo should just come to the ring and give him the belt so we can all get this over and done with. He also went back to a saying that is big in his country, and I assume most countries too, where he says, you show me somebody's friends, and I will show you what that person is like. I have made that way too long. I was like, I'm protected here, because I have absolutely no friends. Second thought, maybe that's not so good. Of course, this was just a shot at the Judgment Day, who'd like to hang out with Damian. When he called out Priest, Damian just marched to the ring, and do you know what he did? The most relatable thing that maybe somebody has ever done on a wrestling show. He just punched Gunther right in the face. The security guards ran down to the ring, but as we all know, wrestling security guards suck, especially bald ones, so they continued to brawl, where eventually they were able to calm them down, and I tell you, this angle was good. I mean, to be honest, both guys have proven now that they absolutely deserve to be in this spot. We didn't do anything crazy here, it was simple, but I tell you, it was effective. I'm also starting to now think that Damian Priest may retain his belt at Hot WrestleMania, because what do we have a few weeks after that? It's the pay-per-view premium live event in Berlin, and Gunther can win it there. I mean, when you do have an open net, just put in the ball. But it is very good stuff. Right after this, Jackie Redmond was trying to get a word when Damian Priest and Gunther were fighting again, because apparently if you are a wrestling security guard, you only care about things that are happening in front of the fans. But I am going to give this an up. It was a damn hot start to Raw. So I'm officially excited for the match, as I was for the person in the front row who had that sign, Simon, give me it up. So there is people on the internet that get so mad when I talk about this. You're so arrogant, Simon. You're right. I'm an arrogant Alan. I'm just running wild. I appreciate this so much. I'm going to put my hands together and thank you one more time. And your wish is my command, because I'm a genie. You are absolutely getting it up. When it was time for Bron Breakker versus Ilja Dragunov. Now, there was a part of me that's like, I swear I've seen this 972 times in 2024. But turns out I can take another one. In fact, I could probably watch them wrestle for the rest of my life. Not true. Eventually, I would get bored. The idea, though, is the winner is going to face Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. And it's Ilja Dragunov. He just sells his ass off all of the time. And at least on 4 points during this match, I was like, that's it, he's dead. This included when they were fighting on Team of the Turnbuckle, when Bron grabbed Ilja and he gave him a suplex into the ring post. But like usually we go to the side. Nope. He dropped him chest first on top of the thing. How did he not break a rib? Breakker also hit a gut buster, but he also must have hit Ilja's go button, because he came back with a DDT and a Constantine special, and eventually he even hit the H-bomb. Now, Bron Breakker ain't no fool, and he rolled out of the ring. I was still like, Ilja, how are you doing this? And he was so broken, even when he hit a bomb of power, he wasn't able to hit it properly, which is when Bron went, and hit that amazing Frankensteiner. So again, one day in the very distant future, we should somehow have a mega feud between these two, and it should end at WrestleMania. I need it. When they did get to the outside too, Dragunov just dropped Breakker onto his head with a DDT into the apron, and it is the hardest part of the ring. But I think he took way too long to follow up here, because eventually he just flew at Bron Breakker and given they were on the outside, Bron stopped him with a spear, and that's when I really meant it. I was like, there ain't no way Ilia getting up from that one. I was right too, because even though the referee started to go 1, 2, 3, 4, eventually they were like, don't think he's moving, we need to stop this. So Bron Breakker did get the victory, I suppose because Ilja Dragunov was totally knocked out. Now I do like this because again, go watch boxing or MMA, that's literally how most of those fights end. The problem being in wrestling, especially WWE, we don't really have one succinct rule for all of this, so if we are going to do it more, we should probably just pick one. Because wrestling is wacky too, it also means we did kind of protect Dragunov here, and now at Hot WrestleMania, it is Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker for the IC title, and given some things that happen later on Raw, all of this I think is going to be absolute fire. It is getting it up. Rhea Ripley was then literally the mammy because she was backstage with the Judgment Day. She went, listen, you have to stop playing those video games. Dominik then admitted that he was having a very hard week because of course you're not allowed to talk to another wrestler unless a camera is being pointed at you on Raw or SmackDown. And this is because 7 days ago, Rhea kept talking about Jey. So Rhea just went, ha ha. Well, you do know I was just goofing around there, unlike you and Liv Morgan. I was like, good work, Mysterio. You've become Britney, you did it again. Finn Balor's ears then picked up because he too was sick of Jey Uso because he feels disrespected by him. So he's going to go pick a fight. And Rhea was like, don't do that. We have other fish to fry, just leave him alone. I did confuse Finn a little bit, but Rhea doubled down on this before she left. And instantly Finn was like, man, screw that. All of you boys get together with me and we're going to sort out our Jey Uso problem. I was like, all of you are absolute fools. We then had a very interesting shock because we saw Adam Pearce, Drew McIntyre and the referees, and now they all seem to be on the same page. I was like, man, we better have an explanation for that one. And actually we did. It's going to happen in around about 5 minutes. I think we can all agree, though, that Drew's suspension has been the worst suspension ever when we saw the Alpha Academy and Xavier Woods celebrating because it's Tozawa's birthday. Now, this is where the commentators told us, oh, Gunther and Damian Priest have been banned from the building. And I was like, you mean marks? Are you telling me that as soon as you ban Gunther and Damian, they have the Tozawa party, which means they can't go to the celebrations? I mean, that is absolute poppycock. And it was time for Sonya Deville versus Lyra Valkyria. Now, Deville made sure to throw Lyra into barricade as soon as possible, mostly because Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark were being absolute numpties on the outside. So as always, take a moment for Barry. I mean, he didn't do anything. And the absolute highlight of all of this is that when Valkyria had worked her way back into the match, courtesy of a Northern Light suplex, she was going to give a gut-wrench powerbomb to Sonya, but Deville was still holding on. And you just heard Lyra shouting, let go, let go. I love stuff like this. People get so mad. It is the best part of pro wrestling because it's like you're part of a special club. Although I tell you this, Matthew is going to have a field day with that one. Shayna Baszler wasn't a fan, so she was back to casting distraction. This is when Zoey Stark just pushed Valkyria off the top rope. And even though the referee did have their back turned, I was a bit like, would you not have heard a noise? Go get a hearing aid. It did allow Sonya to hit the Deville's advocate, and I'm not making the same joke that I made last week, because it went over so many people's heads, and a lot of stupid comments on social media, but she did get it, 1, 2, 3. So this was all right, it was just a way to keep the feud going. There is a part of me, this part right here, which is like maybe we should introduce trios championships, but we shouldn't do that, and we should just take all of these groups and make sure they're focused on the tag team titles. And given what does happen later, well, it certainly does feel like that's what we're gonna do. Obviously, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance were with Valkyria as well, so we do have all these groups building. So now I just think we need to give them a little bit of promo time so we can get the feeling and we can get the emotion. That's also when you get the good stuff. But yeah, this was okay. When I think somebody decided, wait a minute, we cannot forget the spook in Spooky Wookie. Now I really did appreciate this because all the Wyatt Sicks videos up to this point have been so hard-hitting and so emotional, mostly because Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan have been talking about the passing of Bray Wyatt, and yeah, that's always gonna get you. Now my worry is that WWE may have tried to force this on every single person in the group and that wouldn't have worked, but man, I was so happy to be wrong because it was Nikki Cross's turn on this Raw, and man, she was just being an absolute crazy person. I mean, she just talked about suffering in silence and how she was the answer to something, and the whole time there was creepy violin playing. And I tell you this, I do not like creepy violin. Nikki screamed to end all of this, and it just came across like some kind of video you'd watch in Resident Evil, and I'm a big fan of that. So it just goes to show that sometimes less can be more. This can't have gone on for longer than 30 seconds, and it still has me totally invested in the Wyatt Sicks. At the moment, it's a massive round of applause. Every single step that WWE has taken has been the right one, which is not what I'm doing right now. Looked like I was going to fall over. Nothing will beat what came after this, though, because you had this whole uncomfortable segment. Then WWE went, oh yeah, J-Roll is performing at SummerSlam. I tell you, I laughed a lot. So that was just the best 180, as I suppose was the next segment, because out came CM Punk. Now he went totally off the rails because he was like, look, I'm wearing pink shoes and we should stain them with the blood of Drew McIntyre, which does have to put a 1 on the crime counter. I don't think you're allowed to say that. When he also revealed, I have been cleared, so Drew, get your butt out here right now. It's time to fight. I was very excited. I've wanted to see this for 7 months. Now he had said McIntyre's name, so as per Wrestling Rule 14.8, he did come to the ring. But Drew was really subdued here. He was like, man, I've been waiting for this since the day I was born, but I'm not going to do it in front of Green Bay, because let's face it, this is a mega match, and these people don't deserve it. I was like, Drew, what are you doing? He also wound up Punk by saying, oh, you're so angry. And Punk was really angry. You need to calm down. And in these trying moments, I often like to think about family. He was wiggling and jiggling CM Punk's family friendship bracelet thing. I was like, Drew, you're such an awful but wonderful person. And just like it looked like they were going to get to war, Adam Pearce walked out here. And I was like, Adam, why weren't you here from second one? You know what these two were like. At any point, they could explode. Thankfully, he did have context here, but because Drew McIntyre is back after the worst suspension ever, and CM Punk is cleared, he has made a deal with everyone, and that's right. At Hot WrestleMania, it is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and I got excited in my tum-tum because, again, even if they just sit there and play angry checkers, I actually still think it'll be pretty good. Of course, the reason Drew is preaching no violence right now is because he has been told the stipulation, which is what Pearce is going to tell Punk right now. If either of you two touch before that pay-per-view premium live event, not only are you suspended, but the match is dead forever. Now, that was a little bit like Boy Who Cried Wolf, because I just seen Drew's suspension and it feels like a cakewalk, when Adam also admitted there is also one more problem we have to sort out. Because you two have just run rampant throughout 2024, I have a referee problem. Clearly Seth Rollins had decided, well, I just want to be a troll under a bridge, because his music hit, and yeah, he walked out, you can see where this is going, and said, it's right, we do have an official issue, but guess who is now the special guest referee? It's Repo Man. It's not what happened. That's what I said in my head. It is, of course, Seth Rollins. The way he actually set this up is by saying we need to have someone that enjoys chaos, so I thought Dr. Robotnik was about to come out, but he did not. But look what we have on paper now. Drew versus Punk with Seth as the referee. If shenanigans don't happen here, I promise you this, my friends, I will shave my head. I mean, in the real world, this would never happen, because it'd be like trying to put out fire by dumping some flames on it. But what we have to do, given this situation, is just recreate the ending to SummerSlam 1997. And if you've never seen SummerSlam 1997, well, you just got yourself some homework. It really is one of the best things on WWE TV, though, and it feels like a proper feud. We talked about this and the definition of feud, and now that Seth has been thrown in the middle, well, your guess is as good as mine. It also means we can probably stretch this out till WrestleMania, because you can do the singles matches and you can do the triple threat matches, which is maybe what we should do at WrestleMania 41. But man, this is getting a massive up. I am super duper invested. And yes, then the Judgment Day, we're looking for Jey Uso. And I face palm because I was like, man, you guys are idiots. It failed instantly because, of course, Dominik Mysterio bumped into Liv Morgan, who was being all like, shh, we can't tell anyone. And even though Dom tried to shoo her away, I was like, man, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I know that you're in cahoots. She hated seeing Dominik so stressed, though, and even apologized from last week, because again, you cannot talk to each other as a professional wrestler unless you are standing there on Monday Night Raw. Now, Tommy Boy made it very clear here that he doesn't care about any of this because things are good with Rhea now. When Finn Balor walked back in, I tell you, he was just stirring the pot. So he wanted to know what the hell Mysterio was doing, and Dom was all like, well, you haven't found Jey Uso either. And I tell you, I think this is all just a play for the cameras. Dom and Liv and Finn and JD and Carlito, they all know what they're doing. It's all going to be a very upsetting thing to see. So basically, sadness is coming for Rhea. It actually sounds like a very pretentious indie movie. We had a quick interview with Sami Zayn after this, who said, listen, I'm fine taking on Bron Breakker at Hot WrestleMania, because even though I'm not concerned by him, I do understand he is a threat, but you listen to me, Bron. I am going to bring the same game as last time, so you better be ready. I was like, Zayn, what are you, a James Bond villain? You just told him the plan. We were also about to find out whether Ilja Dragunov was dead or not when we heard some noise, and when the camera zoomed across to see what it was the Judgment Day beating up Jey Uso, and this was so well done. Because, of course, it meant Sami Zayn did make the save. We were then going to do this tag match in the main event, but it also means weeks before, I believe Sami Zayn is going to lose the Intercontinental Championship. He is friends with Jey Uso again, and wouldn't you know it, Roman Reigns is almost back on TV, and we're going to need a reunion of the original bloodline. So, man, if I am right, I'm often wrong, but if I am, tip of a cat, that is some damn good booking. When the Final Testament defeated Xavier Woods and the Alpha Academy. Now, this probably did have to happen. We need to continue on everything with the New Day, and we need to continue on everything with Chad Gable. So this was the first time in a while we made it very clear that we shall get back to Otis versus Chad, and I'll talk about that in around about 2 seconds. And at the start here, Woods was just whipping the Authors of Pain's ass, mostly probably because he's gone out there and read about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Eventually Cam got the tag though, and he's so big, he just punched Xavier right in the back. I was like, man, that would suck. Thankfully, Woods has an elbow and he smashed him right in the head when Tozawa got the tag. And because it is his birthday, I tell you, for a little while, he was running wild. This made me very happy. He also hit a double axe handle and was able to score a dive onto the Final Testament after this. I was just like, what a wonderful day of birth he's having. He then ripped off his t-shirt when he got murked by the commercial break, which always happens as the Authors of Pain did take over. When Karrion Kross got the tag and he walked in and he picked the bones. It's like, damn it, Karrion, I see right through you. I also think he was upset about not being invited to that party when he hit Tozawa with the F10. When he basically fell into the biggest trap of all of 2024. Because he wasn't properly posing, but he was basically posing, and this just meant that Tozawa was able to take his Phoenix down when he looked over the ring, and he saw Otis, and he got the hot tag. This guy was just steaming too as the crowd went crazy for him, especially when he hit the Caterpillar. And even when Kross tried to hit him, nope, that's not gonna happen, and he hit him right back. Woods then got the tag, but Razor tried to stop that, so he just booted him right in the face. When Tozawa was just on it, he was like, man, I'm gonna do a crossbody into everyone, which he did do. Now, this allowed Karrion Kross and Xavier Woods to have a little bit of a scuffle. And just when it looked like Xavier was going to win, I think he kind of got distracted by what was happening at the outside. Karrion hit the final prayer. 1, 2, 3. Damn it. So this is a little bit like the 6-person match we had earlier. I think all of these guys just need a bit more promo time. Although, of course, given that Xavier Woods did take the pin here, it's almost like Kofi Kingston needs to come back and help him. Or you could play it as Xavier being moved away from the light side when it's Kofi that saves him from the dark. Because let's face it, when you break it right down, everything is Star Wars. This was a fun old match. This was doubly true too because Chad Gable and the Creeds came out right after this, and they told the Alpha Academy to wait in the ring. And Chad was like, I see you, Otis. You've taken on a little bit of a leadership role here, and it's not working very well because you just lost. He also said something along the lines of that Otis's brain wasn't his best attribute, which is why he's teamed up with Julius and Brutus. I was like, listen, I want to be that guy, but we've never really portrayed them as geniuses. Gable's still trying to be emotionally manipulative here too, because he's like, listen, if we all come back together, it will be good for all of our lives, because don't forget the Wyatt Sicks are still out there, and they want to take out everyone. I was then basically laughed this off, because he was like, dude, I saw what you did last week. As soon as these guys tried to spooky wookie your ass, you ran away, and you left the Creeds in jeopardy, and I don't want none of that. That's when Gable was like, listen, Maxine and Tozawa, this guy doesn't want to speak for you, or I don't want him to speak for you. What do you say? They all basically huddled up. They don't want nothing to do with Chad. And of course, this is when Gable told the Creeds to attack because he is an asshole. And while they did okay for a little while, Otis powered up and he was whooping their ass. But then, yeah, the numbers game caught up to him. I mean, he got thrown into all our wrestling friends when Chad Gable was going, get the chairs. And he shouldn't have done that because right when we were going to do this, we learned a little bit more about the Wyatt Sicks. They are essentially Batman, and they will not deal with injustice. Now, fair play to Brutus and Julius, because they've been excellent hires, as they formed a protective barrier around Chad Gable instantly. It also turned out they were stupid employees, because Uncle Howdy just went, okay, well, I won't come out the entranceway. I will appear behind Chad, and man, he hit him with his sister Abigail, and this place went totally nuts. It really will give you chills when you do see it, and surely we're going to do this 6-man tag at SummerSlam, which then we can go to Chad Gable and Otis, which I'm very excited about, because I need that one-on-one match. And again, fair play for WWE for taking their time. Just means I can invest a little bit more with cash. There's nothing there. Up. When we got a mess, somebody go clean it. But it was meant to be Pete Dunne versus Bronson Reed. But it didn't happen, because instantly Sheamus just teleported in from the Starship Enterprise, and he started to whoop everybody's ass. But he kneed Pete Dunne right in the face when he got into it with Bronson and basically threw him out the ring. And when he was going to finish Peter off with the bro kick, Dunne just ran away, which I'm not surprised, because before this, Sheamus had grabbed him and he beat in his chest. And of course, man, this whole thing ended with Sheamus looking at Pete and Pete looking at Sheamus, because they are going to get super serious. And Sheamus cut a promo later too, and he was like, listen, fella, we can just go to the pub if you want and talk, or if you want to have a banger, well, you can come in and bang me. He definitely didn't say that. So this was pretty short and sweet, but I do enjoy the pivot here, because of course Tyler Bates sadly did get injured, and I think somebody just went through past storylines and went, well, we can kind of tie up all the loose ends with the Brawling Brutes, so now we are going to do Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. Who can get mad at that? Up. I'm going to back my mad Bronson Reed though, because he was just tossed away here like he was nothing. At the moment, it does kind of feel like he's the third wheel. And I'm sure eventually we'll get a triple threat match and all will be fine, but he just needs a more focused story. I don't think he's had one for the entirety of 2024. So yeah, I'm going to engage my nerd gear. That's getting it down. Rhea was then hanging out with the Judgment Day again and basically said, why were you idiots when I told you not to be idiots? Carlito was like, yeah, the plan didn't really work. Balor was just mad about all of this though, so he had gone to Adam Pearce and not only got him and JD versus Sami and Jey for later, but as he didn't appreciate what Gunther said at the start of the show, next week it's also Finn versus Gunther. If you ain't gonna tune in for that, you do not like wrestling. Ripley was especially pissed by all of this though, especially now that Sami Zayn is involved, when she turned to Dom and was like, well, what were you doing with all of this? When Carlito decided, man, who needs a pro card anymore? And he just went, well, maybe you should ask Liv. Ruh-roh. That really did make me laugh out loud because Rhea is such a badass. She just grabbed Dom and was like, listen, we're going to the ring. And she quite literally dragged him out there. She wasn't wasting any time either, because as soon as they did get there, she told Liv Morgan to get her ass out here too. And man, did she literally do that. The internet's having a meltdown. Morgan was doing this from the stands though, because he was like, man, I have self-control, so I'll wait for SummerSlam. And also, let's just get into it here. I have feelings for Dom, and he has feelings for me. I was like, man, I think you should have said that. They got even worse because Morgan was like, the reason for this is because handsome guys like Dom don't go for girls like you. They go for girls like me. And then, yeah, she did a little twirl. Just go and look at the bookmarks for this. On X, whatever we're calling it. You should all be ashamed of yourself. Rhea was then going to kill her, but Dominik held her back, and Liv was like, that's because he wants to say 3 words to me, where Mysterio grabbed a microphone and went, you want 3 words? I hate you, Liv. I was like, bro, I don't want to be that guy. Like, this is a really good segment. It's going very well. There's most definitely 4 words. But to be fair, hate is driving this angle, and Dominik Mysterio just went totally in on her. He was saying, I can't stand you. You've ruined my life. I just want to be with Rhea Ripley. And fair play to Liv Morgan. She started crying, and I actually felt a bit sorry for her, so she has pulled the wool over my eyes. Rhea was so damn happy, she acted like she won the lottery when she licked Dominik's face. I was like, man, we are living in the Phantom Zone or something. Why are people becoming cats? But again, it's just so well thought out, because at SummerSlam, Liv will retain her title after Dominik Mysterio turns on Rhea Ripley properly, and not only is that going to get Dom and Liv all of the boos, it's going to make Rhea an even bigger babyface than she is already. So it is just good wrestling, my friends, or I suppose sports entertainment, but either way, it is getting it up. Kathy Kelly was then talking to Zelina Vega, who had her arm all like taped up in a cast, because of course last week Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark had flubbed her up. She was just like, nah man, I'm still gonna have this match. And apparently it was perfectly fine. Who makes these rules? I mean, it is pure Street Fighter power, and then it was Zelina versus Zoey Stark, so you know the deal. Get on the Zoey Stark train of fun, because we stand Zoey Stark on ups and downs. She is better than people give her credit for. That was not true on this evening though, because even though she had Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler in her corner, who were casting distraction, you ain't gonna believe this, she lost to the one-armed Zelina Vega. Now of course Zoey worked this over for a little while, when Zelina came back with a moonsault. I stared at this like it was like a maths problem. How the hell did she do it? As soon as the villain Baszler did try to get involved, out came Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. At first I was like, why did it take you so long? But this created such a schmoz, yeah. Zelina Vega saw an opening. Because the referee was all like, I don't know what's going on. When Vega took the cast and just smashed Zoey in the face with it over and over again. And listen, the ref wasn't really looking, but they must have been able to figure it out. But no, Vega hit the code red. She got the 1, 2, 3. I was honestly stunned. I mean, if this is the rules as well, next time I have a wrestling match, I'm just going to attach a chair to my leg and tell everyone, well, without it, I can't walk. Then yeah, I can just boot somebody in the face and win. I can't get mad at Zelina getting wins though, because she loses all of the time. And I actually think she has great babyface power. We just don't tap into it. So in that sense, I'm giving it an up. Ain't no one doing that to Zoey Stark though. Not on my show and not on my channel. So that's a down. Look, I'm sure this is going to work out perfectly fine. But again, my show, you can't control me. Xavier Woods then asked Pearce for a match against Karrion Kross next week, which did get granted. When Drew McIntyre arrived, and he was like, what is that crap with Seth Rollins as the referee? He definitely doesn't like me. It's true. Pierce didn't care about any of this though, because he'd been backed into a corner when he told Drew, you and Punk next week have to go to the ring with Seth, and he's going to explain the rules to you. Even Drew was like, what the hell does that mean? It's totally accurate. Pierce then left because he had to go get a drink. I was like, dude, Raw isn't over. You're not allowed to leave to get wasted, so I expect him to get fined too. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were then doing an interview about the tag team titles because they will go to SmackDown to talk to Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. When in walked in Sonya Deville and friends, they were like, oh, you're finally back on Raw. Well, don't forget about us, because we want to kick your ass. So all of this definitely needs to be smoothed out a little bit, mostly with promos, but at least WWE is remembering about the women's tag titles, and there's a bunch of people that want them. This is the simple source. If I watch individuals on television telling me they care, all of a sudden I can care too. When we just got the best Gunther video, because I tell you, we are just turning him into the asshole warrior of virtue. He is just so damn good as he reminded us how important a world title is meant to be, when he ran through everyone that has held the World Heavyweight Championship, because Seth Rollins tried so hard he broke down, Drew McIntyre is so distracted by idiots like Punk he only held it for 5 minutes, and as for Damian Priest, when he's talked about this, he's not doing a good job. In short, Gunther doesn't respect entertainers, which is why he's going to bring prestige back to this belt. So it's just an up. Gunther is so good right now, and he feels like such a unique character. Absolutely love it. We really should give him the championship as well and just allow him to murder, death, kill everyone when we got to our main event. And yes, it was JD McDonough and Finn Balor taking on Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And this too was just a lot of fun. Zayn dove on everybody straight away, because why wouldn't you do that? But surprise, surprise, Dominik Mysterio and Carlito were running around on the outside. They cast distraction, they cast interference. But Judgment Day were back into it. It didn't really bother Sami Zayn, because even though he had been posted, he came back with the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. And did it work? Of course it didn't. It never does, although somebody did win a match in the G1 the other day with it, but still. Uso then got the warm tag, but when he went for a Samoan drop, he totally failed. And this is when I felt like my life was an entire lie, because I checked and he's most definitely Samoan. Balor did rake his eyes though, which is the ultimate way to stop. And Jey Uso was so mad, he saw JD McDonough coming off the top rope and he suka kicked him. Honestly, fair play to JD. Every single week he finds an entertaining way to get his ass kicked. They then did get the hot tag, but once again Carlito and Dominik were being massive dickheads, which is when JD was able to get the fly that is Spanish. When from nowhere, Sammy and Jay were back on the up, and they got the 1D, that resulted in a 1-2-ooh. Balor then tagged himself in and somehow caught the coup de grace on the first go, which never happens, when McDonough came off the top with a moonsault, and man, once again, Sami Zayn broke the up at the 1-2-ooh, and he could not have been any closer to the ooh. He then threw Balor out the ring as he gave JD the haluva kick when he just dived onto the entire Judgment Day. And of course he did this, they were being super duper idiots. It also allowed time for Jey Uso to take his med pack, replenish his HP as he came flying off the top with the big old splash, and he pinned JD to get the 1-2-3. And all of this was peaches and cream when Bron Breakker was just there, and my word, he killed Sami Zayn with a spear. Uso was too late to check on this, but once again, let's just delve into it. Bron will beat Sami at SummerSlam for the IC belt, and the reason Zayn won't go and try and reclaim that thing is because he has to go and help Jey Uso with the original bloodline. Now listen, it's total speculation on my part, but I just think that's the way it has to go, and it's such good storytelling. This was a very fun end to Raw, and it's getting it up. Which brought us to the end of Monday Night Raw, and again, it's just a good show because SummerSlam feels like such a major event and we are planting those seeds. And listen, fair play to everybody else involved, but I cannot wait for CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I think it's gonna be something we talk about for a long old time. Overall, Raw is getting it up. Now, of course, you gotta drop me a comment below and let me know what you thought about Monday Night Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for ups and downs from SmackDown last week to get all of my thoughts on pro wrestling. Otherwise, my friends, have a terrific day. I'll see you throughout the week.